This is going to be maybe the first video in a series of videos of our house and our remodel the second time around. So when we bought this house, it was a complete disaster, and we remodeled it from the stud all the way to the finishes, but we didn't even finish it. There's a lot that's still unfinished, but 12 years later, we're going to try to start getting it finished, and that's going to start with our kids' bathroom, and we're going to totally gut it and probably try to rearrange it just a little bit, but more importantly, update it and finish it. Now, as with most remodels, getting rid of the big items is usually the easiest, and thanks to my wife and daughter, we made quick work of removing the vanity and sink top, as well as the toilet. What worked out really well was having access to this window right here and putting my boom lift. So I've got my JLG boom lift, opened up the window. I took the toilet, I took the vanity, I took the sink, put it all on the lift and just got it out of here. So I didn't have to track anything through the house. My goal is to do that for most of this project so that I don't have to haul drywall. There's gonna be some plaster, some lath, and just all sorts of great stuff, I'm sure, behind these walls. So you can see here, I've got my new windows. These are I can't remember what brand these are. Simonton, Geldwin, something vinyl window. They're a full new construction. I've got my studs here, but then I've got a little bit different. This is not like your standard lath and plaster. It's like a 1x4, and it's tongue and groove. So it's almost like a shiplap 1x4, and then it's got like a center groove in it. And that's where all the plaster was. That's how a lot of this house is. It's not like your standard lath strips. And you'll see it when I get this going. There's a reason we left it on the first time around when we remodeled and just went ahead and put 5/8 drywall over it, was because it is a pain to get rid of. But this time around, we're getting rid of it, and we're gonna go ahead and make sure we got some good insulation behind the walls. What do you think, Cole? Lots of room for activities?
Spacey.
Yeah. Let's make it messy.
Okay.
Like, we're talking tear off drywall and everything. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you scratched the floor.
I don't think that's a big deal. There, we can take that right out. Boom. We'll go ahead and get the 2 surrounds out, take out the base, and then it's to the really fun part, and I think you'll be able to help with
Is it the part where...
busting out the tiles with that cool tool.
What tool?
Time will tell.
It's a big screw.
What's that do? Tool!
What?
Right there. It's like this, like...
It's the underside of the tub. See, we set it in mortar. That way it made it nice and solid. But we're going to tear it out now.
How?
Muscles.
How do you do this?
You don't have muscles?
No.
Show me. Okay, Cole, show Chloe how it works.
Small.
There.
Okay, go ahead. You gotta make sure you're going straight at it, Chloe.
This is hard.
Turn your drill sideways.
Sideways. Yeah.
Like this. Straight. That way it's straight in. Now go ahead and pull the trigger. Right? Gotta keep it nice and tight. Go ahead and pull it. Nice. Now come over here and do this one. There you go.
I want to tear it out too.
We've moved up to power tools because this tile, even though we didn't use any subfloor back 12 years ago, I didn't know much. We just got mortar right down to the OSB. It's down there pretty good, so we're using the rotary hammer just to bust it up. How's that working, Cole?
It's working pretty good. I mean,
Show me. Sure beats using the hammer.
Is this all like deja vu for you because you used to remodel?
Yeah, kind of miserable to be honest. Okay, so here's what I do. First, when I make a hole, then I put my hands in here, try to break it free.
Jeez.
Grab it, man. There we go. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a big piece.
That's like your first demo.
Pretty fun so far.
Yeah, well, you want to know something?
What?
What we just took off is called drywall. So you know what this stuff is?
What?
It's called plaster. And you know what we got to do?
Take that off too.
We got to take it down, and underneath of it is what's called lath. That can be seen right here. You see this wood?
Oh yeah.
That drywall, even though it was still hard work,
Yep. This ain't in the beginning.
that was easy.
No.
The good news, we've only got this wall and this wall with lath and plaster, because those are our exterior walls. And now you can see where a window used to be. I have a feeling that as I go through this remodel the second time around, I'm gonna be like, what in the world was I thinking, or what was I doing the first time around? And I can tell you, it's because I was completely new. I was 18, 19, no, I was 21 years old probably, and didn't know a whole lot. So, probably gonna find a lot of stuff. You having fun or what?
Yeah.
Show me what you're up to.
Okay.
Alright, so this is a remodel job over Christmas. So I haven't been super motivated the last couple days. We've had Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and today's the day after Christmas. I'm going to try to get all of this plaster picked up, cleaned up. Thankfully, I've got the boom lift right outside the window, and that is going to allow me to go ahead and lift bucket by bucket right out the window down, and then I'll take it into my skid loader and take it over to the dumpster. That way I don't have to go through the house at all. So that's been the blessing of this project so far, is that I've kept all of the contaminated dust, dirt, whatever in this room straight to the outside. Now, one thing a lot of people from Instagram, because I've been posting some stories over there on Instagram, a lot of people are like, oh, just use a shovel, just knock that plaster right off. And the thing I just wanted to make sure you guys understood, you look at this plaster and lath, it's not a typical lath board. A lot of times this board right here is about, you know, let's say an inch, inch and an eighth wide, and usually quarter to maybe 5/16 deep. At least that's what I've seen in my experience, and that's it. But what this wall has is a piece of 1x4. You can see it here. It's got the lap groove here and the tongue here, and then there's also a dado running down the middle, and so it's creating these places for the plaster to get stuck into and really lock in, and that's what's made this demo so difficult. And that is why the crowbar doesn't work as well, nor does a flat shovel, and that's why we also used the SDS rotary hammer, and that really just works, vibrates right through this, and then as I pull off these boards, all this other stuff is gonna come free, but it's really locked in there. Stuff was made to last. This house was built 1893-ish. Here's another thing to consider. Look at all of the nails going down every stud. Okay, now as I am removing all of this plaster, lath, and exposing the insulation, I'm really starting to notice here there's these gaps of no insulation. When I tore off this section here, there was no insulation. And what I thought I'd do, just for fun, if I go ahead and turn it on, you see those blue spots? If I go up the wall, you can see those really bright blue spots there. Those are those holes in the insulation. Obviously, as I move over here where there is no insulation, you can see how blue it is because it's cold. Now let's move over here to this section of wall. Look at all that blue. You can see there, that's the new insulation there. It's fairly darker red, which indicates a warmer area. But I got these big blue patches. So I'm anxious to tear off this lath here and see if there's not good insulation. And that's the main reason I'm doing this remodel job here, is to hopefully get a good insulation barrier and thermal break from the outside. Now, I am not having a whole lot of fun here removing this stuff. I found that the Sawzall was kind of cumbersome, trying to cut it off with the Sawzall. And so now what I've started doing is just pulling the nails, just ripping out the nails. And that seems to be a fairly clean and efficient way to do this without making too much of a mess. My thought is, I don't want to just go crazy, start ripping saw blades through and making a huge mess, because I actually want it to be fairly easy to clean up when I get done doing it. So we're just going to get back into this, put the mask on, and let's get some demo done. Well, I've finally gotten to what I would call almost the end of the demo. I've got the walls all removed down to the studs, and I've got most of the cleanup done. It has been a savior having the boom lift outside. That has really helped with cleanup, keeping the mess to a minimum. Well, if you've ever been in a remodel job, you know how it goes. And that is, you never really quite know where to stop. So we were doing the bathroom, which you can see over here, and I thought to myself, it just makes sense. This is kind of like a wing of the house, a wing. It's just kind of this little 20-foot bump out, and I thought, let's go ahead and get going on this other room, which is a bedroom, it's a spare bedroom. And that way what we can do is get this exterior wall entirely stripped and put some spray foam in it. That way this section is done, we can be finished in it, kind of just commit to this area where all the dust is going to be and just get it done. So I think I'm going to be really happy once it's done. Now, I assume you're wondering, why in the world am I pulling all of these nails? Why not just run a saw up the cavity? Well, because it makes a huge mess, and I'm trying to keep the mess to a minimum, and I'm trying to keep the cleanup to be as efficient as possible. So by pulling the nails, I'm able to basically get these full boards out in one piece, which makes it easy to clean up. I don't got splinters and tons of little chunks of wood everywhere. And the other big thing is it creates a lot less dust. And when it gets to the point where I'm ready to take the insulation, what is in the cavity, it makes it real easy to just put it right into a garbage bag. So a little bit of extra work in the beginning, delayed gratification. Well, that just about wraps up the demolition side of this project, guys, and it is the first in what hopes to be a long series of the project, which is my personal home remodel. Even though it seems like I just did it yesterday, it's been 12 years since I remodeled this home and fell in love with the trades. That's what got me into contracting in the first place. And I couldn't be more excited to start it finally. And hopefully I will take you guys through it all. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And that way you can tune into future videos. Don't expect them to come out weekly, but I will definitely bring them to you as soon as I can. If there is something specifically in the remodeling process that you want me to highlight, make sure you drop that below in the comments and I will do my best to show it to you guys. But what I really wanted to do was talk about furnace filters. Now, I want to give a big thanks to filterbuy.com because they actually sponsored this video. They sent me a bunch of filters because they wanted to make sure that I remember to change my filters, especially after a demolition process. And really, in return, all they wanted from me was to tell you guys that you can't forget to change your filters every month, every 3 months. You know, it really depends on your situation, but most people don't remember. To be honest, I don't remember. I can't even tell you the last time I changed my filter, so I'm a little anxious to see how dirty this thing is. Now, FilterBuy is a family-owned business, and all of their filters are made in the USA. With over 600 different options for you to choose from, there's no way you won't find the one that you need, and everything ships within 24 hours. Now, if you're like me and you'd never remember to change your filter, you can sign up for their subscription process, and that will make sure that they deliver filters to you whenever you need them, and that's going to be the reminder that you need. And the beautiful thing is you actually save 5% on the filters if you sign up for that subscription. All right, I know everybody gets a little weird when you start talking sponsorship, but I truly can stand behind a company that's trying to make it easier for you to remember to change your furnace filters so that you can save money on your energy costs and prolong the life of your HVAC system. So go check them out, but I'm going to change these filters. You guys have a great day. I appreciate the support, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. So thanks a lot. Oh, and just a quick tip, because I think I did this wrong one of my first times. There is a little arrow on most filters, and that's going to tell you which way the air is supposed to flow. So you don't want to put them in backwards. Check your filter for that. It's a good idea. Good tip. Well, that's just like I expected. Look at the dirt in that filter.